Hey y'all, my name is Chantel and I'm back with another video. Today I'm going to be doing a marbled look, like an ombre marbled look with the nude. And I'm using, I say they're ballerina tips, but I'm guessing they were supposed to be coffin tips, but they look more ballerina. As you can see, I have not prepped my hand yet. So what I'm doing is going in and putting my first tips on. So with this particular hand, what you do is you first go in with a wider tip, slide it up under the cuticle area of the hand. Once you get the tips inside the hand, you can proceed to cut the tips down to basically close to where the tip of the actual client's hand is, nail is, and then you'll go in and you'll start gluing the tips on. So all I'm doing right now is just putting the tips in, and I'll be right back.
Style is the answer to everything. A fresh way to approach a dull or dangerous thing. To do a dangerous thing with style is what I call art.
Now that I've cut the tips down, the nails down, it's going to act as a natural nail. I'm now going to go in with the tips. Again, more like a ballerina type tip. I'm going to go in, and it's an XL tip. So I'm going to go in with the tip and I'm going to glue them down to the natural nail, so to say. What I am going to do is I'm going to buff the nails first. That way the glue sticks, because sometimes you will have issues with the glue sticking if the nail is not kind of roughed up. So I'm going to go in, I'm going to buff the nail before gluing the tips down. Once I buff the nail, I'll glue the tips down, shape them a little bit. And in this case, I really didn't do too much shaping to the side. What I did was I did more, once I glued the tip down, I kind of blended the top. Didn't do much, like I said, with the side. It's a mannequin hand, it's not a real person's hand. And this hand is actually really hard to work with. Although it looks like a human hand, it does not really feel like a human hand, so it's not firm enough. So as you can see, it's kind of ragged around the edges. So make sure when you choose a hand, I mean, some people prefer this hand. I prefer the more digital hands, which is like that brown mechanical looking hand. I prefer that because I get to be a little bit rougher when it comes to filing. But I'm going to go ahead and let you watch me put the tips onto the natural nail.
Style Style is the answer to everything. A fresh way to approach a dull or dangerous thing. To do a dangerous thing with style is what I call art.
As I stated earlier, what I'm doing right now is just blending the tip to the natural nail. Again, I didn't do a lot of filing on the side because, for one, they kind of fit from sidewall to sidewall, so it wasn't really not a point in doing too much filing. Also, again, it's not really a human hand, and I had because I had a lot of issues with the hand being so flimsy, I didn't want to do too much filing on it.
Style. Style is the answer to everything. A fresh way to approach a dull or dangerous thing. To do a dangerous thing with style is what I call art.
I didn't want to cut too much of the nail off, so basically all I did was cut the numbers off, because this is supposed to be a long look. If I would have been doing this on my hand, I probably would have went for more of a coffin style versus a ballerina style, but I still think these came out pretty cute. But again, I'm cutting off the tips. Once I finish cutting the tips off, I'll go ahead and go in and clean up the nail, like kind of brush the nail off before I start applying the acrylic. I want to make sure I don't have any dust particles or anything on the nails when I do start applying the acrylic.
Style. Style is the answer to everything. A fresh way to approach a dull or dangerous thing. To do a dangerous thing with style is what I call art.
So I had purchased some pigments and made my own colors at one point. I just have not used them much. So what I'm using is this light orange type color. I'd never named the colors either. I am going to go back and name them eventually, but this is my dark orange that I made. This is the lighter orange that I made. And I'm also going to go in with the white. It's the Speed White from Young Nails. And I'm going to mix all three of those colors together to marble more of a fall look. Oranges, yellows, and white. So what you'll see here is, so when I lay the acrylic down, again, I've learned not to put my acrylic too thick. I've learned also not to take off when you're when you're marbling. Make sure you're not drying the brush off too much. You take your colors and you kind of marble the colors around with a wet brush. Now this first nail, I kind of just laid the acrylic down one at a time and marbled. I won't do that with every nail, only because I found it a little bit easier to kind of grab more than one color at one time and marble them together on the nail. But either way, it does not matter. It's all in the look you want, all in how you feel like you want to do it. As you can see, for me, it seemed like it was a little bit more tedious to lay the colors one at a time. So you'll just see me go through, marble all of the nails, and I'll be right back.
Style. Style is the answer to everything. A fresh way to approach a dull or dangerous thing. To do a dangerous thing with style is what I call art. Style. Style is the answer to everything. A fresh way to approach a dull or dangerous thing. To do a dangerous thing with style is what I call art.
What I'm gonna do now is go in. This is where I'm gonna be ombreing it. I'm gonna go in with Nude Me by Not Polish. It's OG 113. I go in with Nude Me, and I'm gonna ombre it down on the pinky. Now, I did decide to go ahead with the ring finger and marble the whole finger. I also decided to go in on the other two fingers and push the marble up a little bit, because I felt like it was just too far down for the nails to have been so long. So as you notice, I start my bead right above where the marbling starts. That way I can just kind of blend the marble down, blend the ombre down into the marble, the Nude Me color. On here, I actually use 2 beads for the pinky finger, and I blend it. I am going to go back and encapsulate the nails, so as you can see, I didn't worry about an apex or anything as I was putting on the nude to ombre down into the marble. So you see it's a little bit further down than what I wanted it to be. So after I finished the pinky finger, again I went in and I marbled the whole ring finger, and I went in on the other 2 nails and actually pushed my marble up. I'll let you guys go ahead and watch.
Style. Style is the answer to everything. A fresh way to approach a dull or dangerous thing. To do a dangerous thing with style is what I call art. Style is the answer to everything. A fresh way to approach a dull or dangerous thing. To do a dangerous thing with style is what I call art.
I went in here with the Mia Secret Clear. I put it in a separate container because technically you shouldn't dip into your main container. So I did put it into a separate container. But this is Mia Secret Clear. My monomer is not Mia Secret that I'm using right now. I'm still using my Young Nails monomer. But as you can see, I kind of made the apex portion a little bit thicker. And I'm just going to bring it all the way down, drag it down a little bit. Again, I haven't worked with Mia Secret in a long time. So I'm still trying to work on the consistency with the actual Mia Secret powder and monomer. Just to make sure that I'm not making too dry beads or too wet beads. But I'm going to go in with another bead. So on this particular finger, I used the 2 bead method, but I ended up having to add one more bead toward the bottom just to make sure that the tip was covered. As you can see, I made sure that my acrylic, regardless of whether it was too wet or not, I made sure it didn't like just run all over the place. I kept it on the nail. And I try to clean up my sides as I go so I won't have too much of a mess on the side. Again, it's been like a while since I've really been doing nails consistently, so I'm kind of getting back into the swing of things. And recording is new for me, so if I ramble a little bit, I'm sorry. But yeah, as you see, I'm going to do a little bit more on the tip of this nail, just because it wasn't covered at the very tip. I'm going to go through and I'm going to cap, which is the clear that you put over top of any colored acrylic or ombre acrylics or marbled acrylics. I'm going to go through and I'm going to cap every finger, and I'll be back.
Style. Style is the answer to everything. A fresh way to approach a dull or dangerous thing. To do a dangerous thing with style is what I call art. Style. Style is the answer to everything. A fresh way to approach a dull or dangerous thing. To do a dangerous thing with style is what I call art.
right here, I'm going in and I'm filing. Technically, the nails are not completely dry because I'm only using one hand. And we're only using one mannequin hand. It does take a little while for the acrylic to be dry before you can just start filing. So I did start filing the pinky finger and a little bit on the ring finger, but it was not really dry enough for me to do too much. So you'll see me just do a little bit of filing on the tip and around the edges of those two fingers, but then I'll just wait for, then I'll be back once the other fingers are dry.
Style. Style is the answer to everything. A fresh way to approach a dull or dangerous thing. To do a dangerous thing with style is what I call art.
Those fingers were dry enough for me to file the sides, but it still needs to be dried a little bit before I can use my drill. So I will be going in with the drill. I'll go over the top of the nail, the sides of the nail with the drill. Although I'm going over the top and the side with the drill, you will also notice that I use my hand file across the top as well as my hand file on the sides, because the only way to really know whether or not the nail is filed smoothly is to use the hand file across, because personally the drill leaves little ridges to me anyway. It leaves little ridges, so you always want to go over top of the actual hand file. That way you know it's smooth. I normally also buff the nails. This time I honestly just forgot to buff my nails. So yeah. So you what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna let you guys watch me file over top of the nail with the drill, and then I'm gonna go in with my hand file, and I will be back.
Style is the answer to everything. A fresh way to approach a dull or dangerous thing. To do a dangerous thing with style is what I call art. Style. Style is the answer to everything. A fresh way to approach a dull or dangerous thing. To do a dangerous thing with style is what I call art.
because when it's not smooth, it will have like a different color tint on the part that's not filed. So all around it, you'll see kind of like the dusty look, but then you have the lighter, clearer looking look in between or in the spots that's not filed properly. So you just kind of check the nail out, make sure you filed everything properly. As long as you feel like it's smooth and you file it properly, then you go from there. Now again, what I normally do, if I'm actually doing nails with somebody else's hand, I will normally go in and I'll buff the nails just to make sure I have a smooth surface. So when I do my top coat, I like to have a smooth surface. Some people like to have a rougher surface because they say it worked better for their polishes stick. It does not work better for me for my surface to be rough. It works better for me for my surface to be smooth. So again, I did not buff like I normally would on this video, but if you would like to, once you finish filing the nail, you make sure you buff the nail to your desired smoothness, and then you go in with your top coat. Or if you're actually doing natural nails, you of course you want to go with your base coat first and then top coat. But with acrylic nails, I do not do a base coat, I only do a top coat.
Style. Style is the answer to everything. A fresh way to approach a dull or dangerous thing. To do a dangerous thing with style is what I call art.
Once I finish filing the nail down, I go over it with alcohol. I always spray the nails with alcohol and wipe it off. Sometimes I take a wipe and actually wipe these off just to dry the alcohol out of them. Once I finish spraying with alcohol, I'll go in with my top coat. I actually leave mine in at the very end for 120 seconds just to make sure that it's dry. Just make sure that when you're applying your top coat, you're covering the full nail. You want to cover the sides, like the full nail. You can wipe off the excess polish with your finger or whatever the case may be, but make sure the whole nail is covered. So what I'll be doing now is just going in with the top coat.
Style. Style is the answer to everything. A fresh way to approach a dull or dangerous thing. To do a dangerous thing with style is what I call art.
And that is the look. I like shiny nails. Again, it wasn't as good as I wanted it to be on the sides and stuff because the hand was flimsy. But hey, yeah, you guys like it, share the video, like, comment, subscribe.